Antigua Shipyard.
Game number 1, Antigua Shipyard, and to the bottom right of the map we have our Zerg player. It is
Ace Team JD.
Part of Kesma's 8th team created for Pro League. And his opponent from the team Fnatic Raid Call in the blue, he is
Fnatic Alive.
And Alive, a very tough opponent for Jaedong to be facing in his first match here.
I'm a little bit surprised that they actually don't go for the full name here with Jaedong. I was just looking at this and like, wait a second, that's not JD. I watch Scrubs and that's not him.
Well, he likes to use the nickname JD. It's a nickname foreign fans have really used for him quite often. And, you know, this guy coming from Hwasong Oz, a team that disbanded, I guess about 1.5 years ago. It's hard to remember, all the Starcraft 1 teams started to kind of disband and do a lot of trading around that time. I don't know exactly what year it was, but he was teamless for a while. And there was kind of a controversy with him redoing his contract for Hwasong Oz for a while. He became a free agent. And now, of course, being picked up by Kesma's 8th team, a team that didn't do too well in Pro League, that was Starcraft 1 only, but doing a lot better now. Jaedong is getting the shivers over there. That's actually a really nice font that he drew there.
That's like Regimen from Germany, and he is very good with artsy stuff. I'm always like really amazed because I mean I'm able to draw a butterfly. That's about it, and it's like it looks really bad. So I'm really impressed if someone is good with drawing things. Well, we have the drone scout very early for Jaedong. He was now in his opponent's base, and of course what he wants to know is, do you start with a 14cc? Do you start with an early expansion? Can I go for a double hatch before I start my pool? Or what exactly do I have to do here? He starts with his expansion, goes for the spawning pool, but as he scouts that there is currently not a command center just yet, he just falls back with his drone again. And it looks so far as if Alive is going for more of a standard opening. Yeah. We don't see here any kind of early aggression from him. He's going on this map in particular now for one barracks into expand. And on Antigua, it's like, I think what he should do.
Yeah, and it's a very aggressive command center timing. He did it before second Marine, before second depot, even getting gas before the second depot. So Alive cutting a few corners here, which means that he is preparing to potentially be a little bit more aggressive after this expansion is complete. And with the timing of the gas here, it's looking like we're going to see that Reactor Hellion follow up with Banshees, but he's only taken the one gas so far.
He's not going for the double gas, which you've seen in the past quite often, to not only go for the double for the Reactor Hellions, but also transition right away into the Banshee. At this point, I'm a bit more curious, though, about what exactly Jaedong is going to do. We have him without gas, so he's going for the double queen. He will most likely get queen number 3 and number 4, at least, maybe even more of them, and then work his way towards the middle of the map with a creep spread. So definitely pretty interesting to see how he's going to approach this. We've seen different styles from Zerg in the past. Of course, one of the things that he can do is get a bit of an earlier speed, but especially on Antigua, relying on your minerals and queens is very good, but a little bit passive, of course.
Yeah. His third command center coming up here for Alive. He's doing this opening really uniquely. The fast gas to get the Hellions out. And has he pulled out? No, he hasn't pulled out, so this is interesting. So basically he's just relying on the one gas. Since he got it earlier, he's going to have a little bit more gas build up. He's getting the fast third command center. And Jaedong's going to be a little bit in the dark right now as his Overlord was pushed out of the base entirely to the north. He's sending another one to the south, and his Ling got chased away. So now he's kind of going to have to figure out exactly how he approaches the next phase of this game. He's taken his third base. When is he going to take his gases, and what will be the tech of choice? As you mentioned, a lot of Zergs right now are going for this Ling, Banling, Muta style.
He's going straight for double gas at the natural, not in his main base just yet, so he's kind of trying to hide this gas at this point with 4 queens, getting the 5th one, and he will spread his creep. He's currently starting. You want to connect all these 3 bases to be able to defend against Banshee play a little bit better. And a lot of scouting going on, a lot of Zerglings on the map. He really wants to know what's going on. Has the Overlord to the top left at the expansion of Alive and checks for gas, and of course also for the mining. SCV counting is something that he needs to do as well to be exactly in the know of what exactly Alive plays.
Yeah, I love how much Alive has been aggressive with his Marines. They're chasing down every single Zergling that he hasn't seen, and he's doing it again. He's checking around, he's trying to find these Lings. He knows speed is going to be delayed since he saw no gas, he saw the timing of the hatchery. He just continues to check around. He's even going to catch an Overlord to the top right. Alive just being so smart here.
Does he miss it? He misses the Overlord.
Barely.
Yes, barely, and this is so good for Jaedong. It's devastating to lose Overlords in the early stages of the game, and Jaedong is now lucky enough that his Overlord was not spotted, therefore Life cannot capitalize on it.
Now the Overlord in the main will see the third command center. Actually, no, it just barely gets away. But as he sees the timing of the barracks being added, sees no starport, he knows it's a fast third command center.
At the bottom right, now the one Spine Crawler, he gets additional queens. Currently we have a queen count of 5 going up to 6, and also double evolution chamber. The placement not helping him a lot with well, defending against Hellion. He's actually building both of them at the bottom left of his natural.
Yep, and he's moving a Spine down to the natural as well. He really just wants to keep the Hellions away from his base entirely, rather than relying on a type of wall like that. Baneling Nest going up here defensively, getting a few more Lings out on the map, and the starport for Life is coming down as he gets double reactors. He's going to finally start powering up, getting that production out for his Bioforce. He's getting a bunker defensively now. And transferring some SCVs, knowing he's a little bit vulnerable at the third against possible aggression, but he knows he has time to repair with the Hellions at the Watchtower. He knows if Jaedong wants to be aggressive, he's going to find out about it first.
I'm a little bit curious what he wants to do with those Zerglings, because at this point he doesn't really need them. If you go for like 30 Lings, you have this timing where you can attack and do some damage, especially try to punish the third, but usually you get like 30 Lings, and here is not even 20, so with a Baneliness, he might be able to sneak something in here, but he's taking a bit of a risk. You want, of course, a lot of minerals, you want the drones, and so far he's getting 12 additional ones, but these Zerglings need to do some damage, and if he's able to sneak past the Hellions, and it looks like he will, then he can do, now, not enough.
No, not enough. See, the thing is, I think he wanted to, as you mentioned, go for the third base, go for the attack. With this few Lings, it's just barely not enough. 22 more on the way, and this timing is a little bit strange, but I wonder how he wants to use it exactly here. The lair is 3/4 of the way done. The Hellions trying to circumvent the Queens here. There's a lot of creep to get past, though.
His creep spread is amazing. He had 15 creep tumors just a few seconds ago, but yes, these Zergling timings, it only makes sense if you want to put on some aggression, and that's something that he can do with the amount of Zergling that he has now. Earlier he definitely didn't have enough, but now he has about 40, and he will line everything up with +1/+1. He's getting additional gas that he can transition, but here now we could see some aggression with Lings and Banelings, definitely.
Infestation Pit is the tech of choice. I don't know about this exactly used this way, because yeah, his creep is really good, but Alive has had this third up for so long.
No, the Infestation Pit is good. This is the standard style that we've seen out of Stefano with the double evolution chamber +1/+1, Ling Infester, and then later on the transition into Ultralisk. You can go Broodlords on this map, but Ultralisk are a good choice. I like that he's not using this idea of being too aggressive in the mid game and then maybe falling apart. But he has to defend.
Yeah,
and this is the tricky part.
He doesn't have Lings coming back just yet. Here they come. And now there's so many Marines in here for Alive with no Banelings nearby. He can actually just get into a good position with his Marines. A little bit delayed on that, though.
Oh, the pool just dies, and he's basically getting out with everything. Great, well done by Alive here. That was so important. He kills the pool, and he doesn't lose too many units either. That was actually really well executed. But look at the creep spread here. This is also already a little bit Lushira against Pold all over again. The creep is getting completely out of control. The middle of the map already in possession of the Zerg player. And Alive will need this timing when he starts to push out, when he has his tanks ready. But so far he's playing a very stable, very cautious, and very strong game.
Yeah, and with the spawning pool gone, Jaedong cannot actually attack any further. He's got a nice concave set up over here. If he actually tries to go for this attack, he's going to sorely regret it. And look at this, Alive even chasing the Queens off creep. Nicely done, going to pick off one. No transfuse energy on the other ones. Now he's got one, but he's going to lose both Queens. No! Saves one, but he used all the energy. That Queen has to go home, and just a nice little pick off there by Alive. He doesn't hesitate to be aggressive when he knows he's got the advantage. And Jaedong with the fast hive is going to be in a decent spot. I really like most of all that he's taking the base to the south, because he's got his creep already spreading in that direction. This is going to be hard for Alive to attack at these positions.
This is a game, though, a style that Alive is very comfortable with and that he's played in the past. It's not his preferred matchup, as he struggles a little bit against Zerg, but in general, he knows well how to execute this. And with the drop player that we see on the map, this is exactly what he is used to. He wants to hit the base again, the main that is, but he sees the expansion and he will start to force now cancel after cancel. In the middle of the map, nice small aggressions with those Marines, and he's picking off creep tumors. He's retreating, he knows his opponent doesn't have anti-air yet. Great play so far from Alive, I like it a lot.
Yeah, he spots the base to the south. His drop, though, is going to be shut down.
But did you see that with the Marine? He drops the Marine and immediately picks it up again as he realizes that the Zerglings are already positioned. Oh, and look at this! The positioning of the Illusion Chamber completely working against Jaedong now. The Lings are trapped. The pathing is not his best friend.
And the Queen is in the way as well. And,
oh my god.
I mean, this pathing of StarCraft 2 may be better than Brood War, but this is actually something that's really, really going to hurt him. Another drop at the third base as well here, doing so much damage. He's got a fungal, and he will be able to clean this up with Banelings, but so much damage already done.
8 workers killed, and of course also throwing his opponent a little bit off. The Spire is nearly done, and with the Spire now, of course, he can also get the first Corruptors for the Brood Lord transition later on if he wants to pull it off.
Oh, catching the tanks a little bit on siege here, but pathing again is a problem for Jaedong. He's not able to get his Banelings through.
But still a very good attack, and he starts to chase down these Marines, doing a lot of damage. The reinforcements finally streaming in to help Alive out. He needs to take down the Infestor though, and yes, there it is. Chases it down, scans the high ground, and now the creep tumors are gone. He's trying to take possession of this really strategical position in the game.
Yeah, and the fungals are good though. Jaedong actually just able to make this work. Imagine if his Banelings had connected a little bit better, how great of a position he'd be in right now. The base of the bottom left is not being used. He knows it's a little bit vulnerable right now, but because his creep spread is so good, he sees the Marines heading over there right now. He can easily just pull a few Lings over to defend, and Alive knows this. He's just going to start scanning and killing the creep. He knows attacking the base itself is not going to work, and look at this nice rescue.
Jaedong is using a strategy though that most Zerg players will not use on this map. He's going for a Greater Spire instead of Ultralisks. Broodlord can work here, but Broodlords have the big disadvantage of being very, very immobile. So if you are caught off guard, you might lose your entire army, and the Terran player can use a very mobile drop army and run bys against you.
Yeah.
And if Alive is able to execute this, Jaedong might find himself in a lot of trouble. So let's see how Alive is going to approach this. He stated in the past that he hates to work against this particular composition of a Zerg player, but if there's any map where he might be able or happy with it, it's definitely Antigua Shipyard.
That much is for sure. Now, on this map, as you mentioned, it's so slow, and if you lose your support for the Broodlords, you are not going to be able to keep your Broodlords alive because there's so much open space, there's no real crevices to hide your Broodlords in. A nice scan here is going to reveal a ton of Jaedong creep. He's going for a big run by though, he's going to catch a tank on siege, and he may actually be able to get some more Marines for free as well.
Nev wall is completely shut down though, and very well done thus far. This defense is actually really good for Alive, who suddenly takes a huge lead in supply, is able to kill all these Zerglings. The idea of Jaedong was great, but it didn't do the damage that he needed to dish out. And Jaedong is still the 4th base, but this is exactly where Alive is headed now.
He is going now. Jaedong may have been able to re-secure the center because of this attack, but he's not going to hold the base to the south. He's trying to get Spine Crawlers up there, but even if they were finished, it's not going to be good. He flanks some of the units from behind and gets a few good Baneling hits, but he doesn't stop his base from being killed, and that's the most important thing here. Bringing some Infestors in, but the rest of Alive's army may catch them.
Nice.
And actually, if he holds this...
Nice split here thus far, though. A lot of energy used by those Infestors. He has 5 still available. 170, 180 supply against 166.
He held that base, and
both
now
of them are going for the +3 upgrades. And yeah, so far he has the base, but Alive is not done yet.
Yeah, he's not done. He's continued to attack around the left side. There's no more creep to slow him down this time. He's got a tank ready to siege as well. Needs to pull back against these Banelings, and he does.
He does, and the siege tank goes down, but just look at the position of the Infestors. A great position for them to be in on the high ground, using the fungals, but Alive is not stopping. He has a huge bank. He's rallying units across the map. Now he's spotted his opponent's Broodlords. He starts the Viking production. He has his own 4 base on the top of the map. A great game here between Jaedong and Alive. Really interesting to watch. Resources lost, roughly the same.
You know what's really critical here is that Jaedong's base at the top right has not been spotted by Alive, but his has been spotted by Jaedong. It is a planetary though, so he's actually needs to get out there with those Lings, but he's got the creep extended in that direction. This is something that Alive is going to have to deal with. He's going to have to use some scan energy here.
Another drop at the bottom of the map. He really tries to hit this base. There's only gas mining going on, and this is also what Jaedong needs, but minerals are low for the Zerg player as well. Top right, the few Banelings that he was just morphing have also been caught.
Yeah, and he had a Baneling trap set up, Alive walked over, but he didn't actually execute the Baneling landmines. More starports coming up for Alive here, continues to be ahead in supply. And with this 4th base, things get scarier and scarier for Jaedong because, yeah, he's got that base at the top right, but he's not mining from there, and Alive spots it now with the drop.
The drop is moving in, well, at least the medivacs are. The rest of the units are trying to take position. Of course, the siege tanks are fun. Now also Ultralist suddenly for Jaedong. But this is definitely pretty scary right now. This is really tough. This is a position in the game
the Broodlords are exposed
for both players. And this is what we talked about earlier. If your Broodlords are exposed, they are too slow to run away, and he's losing all of them and the base as well.
The base at the top right, he was not able to use his Banelings to defend. He got more pathing problems. The Marauders actually were behind the minerals. The Banelings could not connect. Good fungals on these Vikings, but the Broodlords are already gone. And if he uses many more fungals on these Vikings, they're not going to be useful against the actual ground army of Alive, which is getting ready to attack.
He has the Ultralisk there nearly done, the cavern, but the problem for him is he has not enough minerals in order to pull it off. The base at the bottom left, we talked about it, he did not mine too many minerals, he was focusing on gas. And now the Infestors are being exposed, he's losing one of them, a great photo here. But it's very dangerous, a very dangerous time for Jaedong. He is falling slowly and steadily behind his opponent.
Yeah, and he's not actually going to be able to kill this planetary. He wasted all of his Banelings there, and now Alive is trading so efficiently here, and he kills the base to the south as well with a huge Marine stem run by. All the drones are dying as well. Jaedong is falling apart here a little bit, not able to keep up. He just didn't have the minerals like you said. He was trying to get that Ultralisk cavern up, had to remake too many Banelings, lost a lot of those Banelings, and then things just spiraled out of control for him.
And the Broodlords did not do him any good
Exactly.
either. This is one of the reasons why most Zerg players will go for the Ultras straight away. Ultralisk is not the best unit in funnels, in very narrow hallways and gaps, but on a map like Antigua Shipyard, where you have a lot of surface area and of course also a lot of fungal available, then you can use Ultralisk. It's just the better composition for this map.
Yeah.
The base to the top of the map for Alive is gone though. He really killed it. He committed with Banelings but the problem is he
lost all the
too
Banelings.
much.
Yeah, he lost all the Banelings now. So how is he going to defend? He's only got 93 supply here. He's got some Infestors, but there's not enough. He loses the base in the center as well. The Infestors get one fungal off here, but the attack continues. There's so many siege tanks here. Alive is maxed.
He's doubling his supply at this point, 200 against 95. The Baneling trade at the top definitely did a job, but at the same time was not really all that efficient. Now the fungals here, but Jaedong is already on his last leg. Alive still maxed out, getting another base, moving in now with everything he has. The army supply is 128 against 30. GG! Alive, he takes the first map against Jaedong. Very nice game that we've seen on Antigua Shipyard. 25